Good morning. It's almost 2 a.m. We're almost charged to 100%, and we're about to do one last cabin run. Up and back in a single day, 280 miles each way. Let's hit the road. Hit the highway at 2:06. Lots of green lights this time of night, so that went pretty well. I am using FSD, so I have a second set of eyes on the road because I did manage to get about 3 hours of sleep, but it's a pretty short night. We are driving from just south of the Twin Cities to Grand Marais, Minnesota, which is on the north shore of Lake Superior. If you've watched the channel for a while, you've seen us go up here several times. Generally not in one day up and back, but I wanted to make this one last trip. The house up there has been in my family for over 100 years. My great-grandpa built it in the early 1900s. I don't know the exact date off the top of my head, but it's the house my grandmother may have been born in, but certainly was raised there. And she and my grandpa brought us up there lots of times when we were kids, leaving in the early morning to beat the Twin Cities traffic. So a lot of great memories of that place, and being able to bring Joan up there has been really special too. But my uncle, who owns it now, is selling it at the end of the month, so a couple days here. So it will be officially moving out of the family, which is sad, but makes sense at this point. So I'm taking the day to go up and help with the final cleaning out, moving anything that needs to be moved. My brother's already up there, and although I'm sure we'll go up many more times to see the harbor, spend time in the town, having that home base and that actually being family property is going to go away. So good time to run up, say goodbye, help out where I can, and I thought I'd bring you along for the ride. There won't be too much B-roll going up because most of this is going to be black, but I plugged Grand Marais into the navigation, and it's saying we'll get to our first stop, which will be Two Harbors, in 182 miles now, but that'll be at 5:05 a.m. So probably after that stop, we'll start seeing the sun come up, but that's where all the good scenery is. Hopefully the leaves are starting to change up there a little bit, so that should be pretty too. And I'll let you know if anything else exciting happens. Only thing so far is, as I was getting onto the interstate, a coyote crossed in front of me. We're just coming into St. Paul now, and gonna drink some coffee and stay on the road. Moving on north here, and we are just past Hinckley. A little while ago, the navigation changed from Two Harbors to Duluth, Minnesota. Normally that would be an okay switch, but the Duluth supercharger is in downtown in a hotel parking ramp, and it's saying we would get there with 12%. That's just a lot of extra stoplights and rigmarole, and it's also a V2 station. So I was thinking of just overriding it and say, no, we're going to get to Two Harbors, and if we get there with 0%, that would be fine normally. Just slow down if I need to. But because I am trying to make good time, I don't want to end up in an issue where I have to go really slow or I actually don't make it. I'm going to add the Carlton supercharger as a stop and just do like a 5-minute splash at Ash there. Just enough to ensure that we'll get to Two Harbors, but I definitely want to get past Duluth and onto the North Shore as early as possible, so I'm not going to linger in Carlton. Probably won't even use the restroom, gain a few percent, and then head up to Two Harbors so we can make sure we're avoiding any traffic as it starts getting later into the morning. So let me do that now. So I've done that. It's now saying we'll get to Carlton with 22%. And if that's a little high, but saying if we stay there for like 24 minutes, we could get all the way to Grand Marais with 15% or something like that. So that's an option, but I don't think the casino is actually going to be open this early in the day, which means there would be a restroom. So there might not be at Two Harbors either at this time of the morning. But like I said, I really want to get past Duluth before people start waking up there. So we're going to stick with that plan. I am going to stop at Tofte just so when we get up to Grand Marais, we've got plenty, and that'll give us plenty to start the drive home this afternoon. So that's the game plan now. Quick stop in Carlton and then move on, and I'll fill you in when we're there. All right, we are in Carlton. It's saying 26 minutes here. We're not going to do that. So far, we've gone 151 miles. It's 4:13. 57 degrees out and rainy, 312.6 watt hours per mile, and 2 hours and 13 minutes on the road. We have been preconditioning for about 25 minutes, so we should bump up pretty good speeds to, even though we're at 21%. Yeah, looks like we topped off at about 196. Not stupendous, but okay for what we need here. So I just plugged in Two Harbors as our next stop, saying we need about 2 more minutes here, so that should be fine. About what I was thinking. And just like that, we're set to continue our trip. We're up to 38%. And saying we'll get there with 12, which is ample. Thank you, Black Bear. Alright, we are in Two Harbors with 12%. It was only about 50 miles, 330 watt hours per mile, 200 miles so far on the trip. Originally, when we left Burnsville, it was saying we'd get here at 5:05. We got here at 5:10, so that's pretty good. That little stop in Carlton didn't slow us down much, but let's plug in. Oh, weird. It's saying this charger isn't working. Weird. Okay. Try this again on another stall. Looks like someone's pulled the pins out of here. I don't know if you can see that. There doesn't seem to be charging pins. Oh, maybe it's gonna go. Maybe I'm thinking of the V2s, but no, I didn't like that. But we're up over 205 kilowatts, so that's good. All right, it's saying 5 minutes. I need to stretch out or lay down for a couple minutes or something, because it's been a lot of sitting since 2 a.m. So I don't know how long I'm going to stay here, but it might be more than the 5 minutes. It's saying we're almost ready to continue the trip, but 30 minutes to get up to 90%. Our light's fading here, which is nice, but I thought just to get a break, I'm going to lay down for a few minutes. I'll set my alarm so I don't oversleep if I do fall asleep, but just getting into a different position and being comfortable for a few minutes should help. I'm not really tired, but I just need to not be sitting for a little bit. All right, 5:30 in Two Harbors. We're a little over 60%. Looks like 64. Plenty to continue our trip. And I got a few minutes to lay down and just be in another position. So that was good. Let's hit Tofte and charge up for the day. Saying Tofte will be about an hour away, and hopefully the sun will start coming up and we'll be able to see the lake. I could get to Grand Marais with 22%, but I am getting pretty tired, so I need to lay down for a little bit. And I don't need to be up there that early. Yeah, only 36 minutes, so I don't want to wake people up. So we're going to charge here for a little while. That last stretch is only 56 miles, 294 watt hours per mile. All right, in Tofte, it's about 7 a.m. Gonna go see if the restrooms are open. So I needed a little break, so bumped up the charge limit to 100% and jumped in the back, got about 20 minutes of sleep, and that felt pretty good. So again, gonna check the restroom here. Hopefully that's open. Otherwise, I'll make another stop in Tofte and then get up to Grand Marais about 8. It's pretty rainy here this morning, but not a downpour. Well, no restrooms available yet, but we are now up to 96%. It's 7:13, so we'll unplug, stop on the way, maybe grab some more coffee. But I'm feeling better, having a little nap, probably about 20 minutes. And that was just enough to take the edge off, so good stop here. Now let's get rolling. After the quick coffee and restroom stop in Tofte, it was an easy 30 miles to Grand Marais and up Maple Hill. The new owners were taking most of the property as is, but there were still things to straighten up, throw out, and heirlooms to save. We had a productive morning, lunch downtown, then had all the big stuff wrapped up by 3. My brother will be riding home with me, so mostly voiceovers for the rest of this trip, but we said goodbye to the house and to my uncle, and we were on our way south. So we are back in Two Harbors, mostly because of a bathroom break with 43%. That last trip was 86.8 miles since our last charge, 118 miles, average of 252.7. Total distance so far today, 374.4. We're headed to the Super One. Bathroom stop and stretch here. Says we've got enough to continue our trip. We are at 4:48 p.m., 74%. It said we've had enough for a couple minutes, but it's just nice to be out of the car. We finally have some sunshine. A guy and a little girl were getting out of that Model 3, and it reminded me of me and Joan in the early days. Pretty cute. We are in Hinckley at 6:26, 69 degrees, 28%. So we're gonna get home with minus 18, so we need 9 minutes here. Let's look at trips. 101 miles, 276 watt-hours per mile. So far on the day, 476 miles. We will be out of here before we're done getting donuts, but that's okay. Pretty quick trip here. We're up to 62%, 639. I forgot to unplug. This thing will get home with 15%, which is more than enough. We're home at 8:08 with 17%. And the trips for the day, that last stretch was 98 miles, 277 watt-hours per mile, 278 really. Took an hour and 28 minutes. Total distance for the day was 574 with an average energy of 287, so not bad for mostly highway driving. We'll wrap up in the studio where it's light. So not a ton to go over since this was just a day trip, but it was a long day starting out so early in the morning. So here you can see the miles, how many miles we drove in each segment, the drive time in hours and minutes, arrival percentage, how much we used on that leg, the charge time at each stop, percent gained, departure from each stop or our beginning there, our total miles as they accumulated, and our watt-hours per mile on each leg, as well as the total average toward the bottom. And at the bottom we have our totals, so 574 miles through the day, total of 9 hours and 17 minutes driving, a charge time of 1 hour and 35 minutes, which is a little long, but remember I had that nap in there. You can see at the maximum under charge time in the yellow there, the 43-minute stop was at least a 20-minute nap in Tofte. So we still would have needed to have some charge there, but probably not the full 43 minutes. And that bears out by our average being 19 minutes of charge time at a stop, and the median is 14. And if you take that 43 minutes out, I think it came down to an average of 13 minutes. So quick stops, especially that first one in Carlton where I just wanted to get enough to get past Duluth. Departure percentages, again, varied kind of by what I needed at the next one, other than, again, that Tofte charge that was 96% when we left there. And our efficiency, especially in the morning, wasn't great with the cooler temps and the rain. But things did settle down in the afternoon, and that popped back up. So the average for the day was 287.7 watt-hours per mile. And that translates to 3.48 miles per kilowatt hour. So that sounds all right to me for the conditions and the trip. Definitely could still work on arriving at lower states of charge, with the median there being 24.5. Again, some of that was because of the short stints and where I was stopping, but I'd like to be more in that 12 range in the future on other trips. One more thing about that median charge time, when we contrast that with our Boston trip, which obviously was a much bigger sample size, but when I was traveling with Joan, our median was 22 minutes, and to get that down to 14 is pretty significant. So traveling alone as an adult, you can move pretty fast, even if you are making maybe more stops, but just popping in and out and making those quick top-off charges and moving along. So 14 minutes, even with a nap built in there, I think is pretty good. And 574 miles in a day isn't incredible or too grueling, but we did have that big gap during the middle of the day while we were working, and I was getting pretty tired by the afternoon, so glad to have my brother there taking that stint between Two Harbors and Hinckley and giving me a chance to get my eyes off the road for a little while. But good day. Sad to see the cabin go, but
grateful for all the fun times we've had. And actually, as I was wrapping up some of the footage for this, I remembered there's another trip I took with Joan a year and a half ago that I never published that video. That's going to have a lot more scenery and fun stuff than this one did. This one's pretty much just about charging and those kind of stats. But that and some other fun videos and bigger road trips are still coming on the channel. So keep an eye out, like, subscribe, all that stuff if you want to hang around and check it out. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and happy road tripping.